Unfortunately, the majority of traffic fatalities that happen in the U.S. do happen on rural roadways, and heavy machinery is a big part of that as well. So it's just something that we all have to be cautious of and work together to try to reduce that risk. And we obviously, like you said, don't want to see any fatalities. So we just all have to work together and just be mindful of each other out on the road. Distracted driving is always going to be a big issue, and it only gets worse when we're talking about farm equipment. This equipment most of the time takes up more than one full lane, so that's something to be wary of. Also, there are blind corners that we're talking about here. These are thin roads. There may not always be a shoulder for them to pull over if they need to. They'll do so if they can to allow a lot of traffic to flow through, but be mindful that these roads are very narrow, that you can't always see what's going around the next bend. There are bridges that you have to worry about crossing, and there are just multiple things that you have to be wary of when taking any kind of a back road, let alone before you involve heavy equipment. So the biggest thing that I would say is just to be mindful that while these harvests are happening, that there's an increased chance that you will see this farm equipment on the road, and to just be aware that that you want to look out for them, making sure that you do give them a wide berth, and that also if you do go to pass those people, that you can see all the way through. You're not doing any kind of crossing on a double line, that it's legal to do so, and that you can see through them directly before you try to pass them. Well, there's a couple of things. If you can, plan what time you'll be actually on the roads. Try to avoid heavy traffic areas. It doesn't always work out that way, but if you can do that, that would be a huge help, just to kind of lower that risk of running into as many people on the road as you can. Another thing is to make sure that all your lights, your indicators are working, your headlights, your tail lights, your turn indicators. If you don't have turn indicators, make sure that you use hand signals to relay to people that you are going to be turning left or right. And the other thing is to make sure that that SMV logo is on the back of your tractor or whatever machinery is there, and making sure that it's clean and easily visible to the motoring public. These are your neighbors, and these men and women are doing their best to try to provide us with food on our tables, and they're working long hours. So they'll do their best to accommodate you as they go, because they know that these vehicles are going to be moving a lot slower, and then it does pose a risk. But the fact of the matter is that this equipment does need to get from field to field, and they do have to use public roads as part of that process. So it's just an important thing to remember that these are your neighbors, and treat them like that while they work through this time.